Yo, what's good? It's your favorite time of the week. I know it's my favorite time of the week. It is the official McCoy podcast brought to you by No Coast and the good people here at Officialized Media. I trust you had a good weekend. It's midweek for us here at Officialized. That's our normal cadence here. Not that you care. Let's get straight to the sports. It was an interesting weekend in college football. The college QB situation that we predicted might be problematic for two powerhouses, which are Clemson and Alabama, got a little bit, I don't know, we can consider it problematic. It just got interesting. Hurts played his fifth game for the Alabama Crimson Tide, officially making him ineligible for the redshirt year, which I found was interesting considering Tua goes 8 for 8 and gets pulled out of the game, scoring on every drive. But Hurts gets a lot of playing time. He's going to get a chance to put up some stats and some numbers, which is a pretty big deal when you play at Alabama. Backup quarterbacks in places like Alabama and the University of Southern California, players like Matt Castle. There's been a couple names out there where backup quarterbacks have gotten the opportunity to start in the NFL. I think him staying at Alabama, being a part of that awesome conditioning program it looks like everybody has at Alabama that nobody else does in the country, can only help him. Pretty sure he's got a girlfriend. Pretty sure he's on track to graduate and all that good stuff. So at the end of the day, a young man decides he wants to complete his degree, finish up his commitment to Alabama. That's something that all young athletes should subscribe, whatever word that is. You should be try to match that. He's going to end up having a good career. Who knows what happens in the NFL? Maybe he could change positions. Maybe he stays a quarterback and continues to develop behind Tua. Maybe he learns some stuff from Tua. Maybe that's what this whole thing is about. It's really not them competing against each other for a starting quarterback because they seem to like each other, which we've highlighted. Maybe this is about elevating the bar. Maybe he's got a great quarterback coach and he's developing and progressing as he would because he's playing in the games, so he's getting a chance for game repetition. So maybe he's a lot smarter than a lot of us take him for, and he made a good decision. Speaking of making good decisions, did Bryant make a good decision in leaving Clemson? He's technically still enrolled in Clemson, and good old Dabo, my dude Dabo Sweeney, is going to have to go in there in his swag bag and apologize to Bryant. I don't know whether what he's going to have to put a little extra something sweet on his deal to get him back there on the football field. Are you pissed if you're Bryant and this happened? If Dabo comes in the dorm room into my apartment and he asks me to play again to be the starting quarterback for the Clemson Tigers, am I going to be mad? I'm going to act like I'm mad for a minute. I ain't gonna front. I'm going to act like I'm mad for a minute, you know what I mean? But do you really want to transfer and not play on ESPN or ABC every day and not be lauded with the Clemson on the Clemson campus and all the pregame and all the stuff? Do you want to do that and transfer and pick up and leave and go somewhere else? This can happen somewhere else. He can go somewhere and he can lose. Nowadays you out for a series and some dude comes in and has a good series and now your quarterback job is up for grabs. So I don't know if I'm mad. Can't be mad at a young man taking the reins of his destiny and just deciding to leave after all of what he's done for Clemson. But when you go to Clemson that talent wins. They don't hold back talent. Don't hold back talent. That's rule number one in major Division I sports. You don't hold back talent. He knew that going in. He knew what kind of coach Dabo was. So they got to figure that out over there at Clemson. Somebody else who has to figure some things out is Penn State. Penn State, Josh McSorley be balling. Trace, Josh, he's Trace. Excuse me. I like to butcher people's names because my name is Jelani, and I'm scarred from like third grade when people were like, Jelani, is she here? So I be tripping now, and I butcher your name. Like if your name ain't Justin, Griffin, something simple, I'm selfishly gonna try to butcher it because I'm scarred. I'm a flawed man. I'm not who I'm supposed to be yet. I'll try to do better. Anyway, so Trace McSorley is a baller. He's been balling this whole time at Penn State, putting up crazy numbers. He doesn't look like a real big dude. He doesn't look like he's real fast. The ball don't really jump out of his hand, but he does look sweet in a Penn State uniform. He looks like he belongs at Penn State as a Penn State quarterback. He looks sweet in the all white. His teammates seem to like him. You know who didn't seem to like him during the game was his coach, James Franklin. When he put in the headset that they should run that run play on 4th and 5. What? You mean you had a good chance to, slap Urban Meyer in the face right when he tried to come back from all the BS and his entitlement? It was a great chance for the Penn State program to slap the Ohio State Buckeyes in the face with a dose of humility, and they dropped the ball. They didn't even drop the ball. They handed the ball off because he tweaked and he thought Saquon Barkley was still in the backfield. But last time I checked, Saquon Barkley was accruing fantasy points on Sundays. So that's on James Franklin. And don't be coming in the press conference talking that madness about how everybody, he went Joe Clark on us from Lean On Me. I don't know if you seen Lean On Me. He went Batman and he said, and if you thought I was crazy now, wait till you get a load of me with this new James Franklin. James Franklin, please. Ain't nobody told you to call that play. When I played NCAA and I play Madden on the consoles on 4th and 5, in that particular situation, it would never cross my mind to call a run play. Unless Saquon Barkley was back there, but you ain't got Saquon no more. And you're out at the press conference talking about, we got real used to being great at Penn State and we got beat by elite program. No, you got punked by the offensive coordinator who was already running the team for Urban Meyer, or it was a defensive situation. So that's all. Urban Meyer's a defensive guy, right? Supposed to be a defensive guy. Urban Meyer's deal is supposed to be he's supposed to be a defensive guy. So he did what he's supposed to do. He came out of sabbatical, wherever the heck he was on, and I don't know what he was doing. You know what I mean? Probably sent him out to where they send stressed out CEOs to, they take away their phone. They got a place, I think we spoke about it before, the Golden Door. I don't know if it's here in San Diego where they take stressed out CEOs like Elon Musk and people from Facebook, and they take their phone away and they give them massages and they talk nice to them. I think that's where they sent Urban Meyer. So he finally got to a peaceful pace where he did his defensive thing and called James Franklin out on his bluff. It was a bluff. And he got called out. Penn State lost out on a fantastic opportunity to smack Urban Meyer in his mouth. Oh well, Urban gets to ride off. It looks like into the Big Ten sunset as far as the Big Ten, Penn State, Ohio State thing rivalry goes. Stop at the press conferences too. I like you. I like your intensity. I like what you brought back to the Penn State program. But you know what I mean. You're not that guy for those press conferences. Like Mike Gundy, he tried to go Mike Gundy. Remember when Mike Gundy was at Oklahoma State, and he, I'm a 40-year-old man. You got a problem with it? Talk to me. Like, everybody can't do the Mike Gundy and the Denny Green, and like everybody can't channel those coaches and have that moment. Just he looks like a smart guy. Just be the smart, intense guy and say we'll be better. Like we try to be better here every day. Here on the official McCoy podcast. You know what I mean? We try to bring better content, better situations, some poignant things. You strive to get better 1% every day. Go back to the behind the scenes, Jim Franklin. Anyway, let's put it on over. It's October. It's our favorite time of year. We're baseball heads here. We like baseball. Played a little bit of baseball. It got a little boring. I should have kept playing. That's another story. Some 6'10" pitchers came out. Randy Johnson. Right? Tony Clark was 6'8". They got some 6'8" hitters now. I had some bad data. Yeah, somebody told me I was too, you know what? Story time. I was in the Nike town. This is in the 90s, probably my first couple years in the league, and I was going into Nike town. When you still had, when you're sponsored by Nike, you can go to Nike town. You can spend X amount of dollars, it was just depending on what your contract, until Keyjana Carter, who went to Penn State, came out, ruined it for everybody because he would come in there and deplete the stock. But you didn't know that. These are just things that we know as professional athletes and that I tried to bring to you. These are things that really happen. Anyway, I went in, my allotment was not Kijana Carter's. I think I probably had enough for 2 shoes. Me and somebody else, or maybe a little more. But anyway, I saw Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle. I was in there with a good friend of mine, Gino Davis. Shout out Big Gino Davis. And we were in there, and Gino's a big baseball fan. He's like, man, that's Charlie Hustle. I'm like, it is. And it was when he was, ostracized. Is that a good word to use? We're right with it. He was out of baseball for a minute. He was doing the whole gambling thing. And I tried to ignore him, and he beeline for me. And he was like, kid. And he starts getting me down in like a baseball stance. And you know what I mean? He said something about have you sitting down in the zone? And he was telling me how to use my limbs. And I was asking him about I'm too tall for baseball. I thought I was too tall for baseball. But Charlie Hustle in the middle of Nike Town in Los Angeles was showing me how I could use my 6'10" frame to be a hitter. And turns out there were some 6'8", 6'10" baseball players that came out down the line. That was a rocking chair moment for me. I was a big Charlie Hustle fan. Love Pete Rose. He's in the 3,000 club. He's in the 3,000 club. So that was a good moment. Anyway, sorry about that. I got it off subject for a minute, but that's my Major League Baseball story for the day. But did you get a look at that Rockies-Cubs game? It ended in 13 innings. Rockies won 2-1. Cubs fans, I thought the Cubs were really going to be doing their thing this year, but you know what I mean? The Rockies are back. The Rockies fell off for a minute. Story's a baller. The ball just jumps off of his bat for some odd reason. It's not just in Colorado. Usually when you see a Colorado hitter, he's doing all the great things in Denver, but he's been hitting home runs on the road. He's a baller. My A's are in it against the Yankees. We owe the Yankees. You remember the slide? If you remember that A's Yankees, who got tagged out on that slide? Giambi? Yeah, Jeremy Giambi. We're about to beat the Yankees and go to the World Series. We owe the Yankees, and I think we can do this. A's look good. Yankees are the Yankees. They're either going to hit home runs or they're not. Think we can beat them. Hopefully so. The Dodgers are in. Who the Dodgers play? Dodgers play the Braves. Braves look good. They got Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman is back healthy. I still like the Dodgers. I hope they do well, but the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Speaking of the Dodgers, if you got a clip, if you got to look at Yasiel Puig pouring the beer over the homie from the L.A. Dodgers or Fox or whatever he was in the celebration. The reason I say this, the reason why this is important, because the champagne celebration, the champagne procession after every milestone in Major League Baseball has to stop. You got it. The champagne is reserved for the chip. You got to do that in the locker room in the finals, man. After you won a ring or that finals trophy. But now I see baseball doing a good job. The dudes from Milwaukee, the Brewers, they're popping beer. I like the beer move. The beer move for the divisional and clinching pennant seemed like a whole better. Don't outdo the champagne. Save that for the chip. That's pretty much all I got for baseball. Because I'm trying to be quiet. I'm trying to will my A's to victory, so I want to be very focused and give them all my Major League Baseball attention. But it's October. It's the best time for baseball. The baseball commercial is dope with Ken Griffey Jr. Be a kid or something like that. It's a dope commercial. It's dope for baseball. It looks like they're getting baseball's coming back. People are starting to play baseball again. It went dead for a minute. You know what I mean? Now it looks like because of what's going on in football, the athletes are going back to baseball. You got Murray, 9th pick for the A's, my beloved A's, and starting quarterback for Oklahoma, throwing 7 touchdown passes. So baseball is getting their athletes back. They're splitting them with football, but better than nothing, better than having no athletes because the rest of everybody else is playing basketball. Moving right along into NFL news. I got to start this thing off with the best storyline out of the NFL was the Earl Thomas bird. That was beautiful. A lot of people got offended. The Seattle fan base probably got offended. Why? Because Earl don't want to play good old boy and play under. He's outplayed the contract. Right? This is what the whole Le'Veon Bell thing is about. He's probably Earl Thomas was balling this year. He was probably one of the better defenders in the NFL. If you paid attention, ain't nobody else worth me. No, I'm not gonna do that. The Griffin twins have been balling. You know what I mean? And Earl Thomas, from what I can see on that Seattle defense. But the games they playing with Earl Thomas is uncalled for in Seattle. And the fact that he goes out there and gets hurt only highlights the great that Le'Veon Bell is doing for the NFL and his brothers, right? They were even his own teammates were throwing him under the bus. But the Earl Thomas bird needs to be a T-shirt and forever is up there in lore, right behind the heels of Kawhi Leonard's laugh. We had to. Griffin said that this is the last week. That if we're gonna do it, this is the last week. I agreed, so we had to do it. But it is, popular culture is being fed by sports right now. Earl Thomas, that's a meme. A meme is what it's called, right? It needs to be a meme, a T-shirt, a phone scan. You should use that on your screen, your desktop saver. You should be sending that. Save the picture, so that when people ask you for unreasonable requests, you can just send them that picture from Earl Thomas. We need to put it in the App Store as like Earl Thomas, you know what I mean, little emojis. That should be one of the emojis that the Apple Store offers. Don't steal my idea. Send me my check if you do. So we love what Earl Thomas did. We love really feeling Baker Mayfield putting up 42 points for the Cleveland Browns. That's a big deal. He turned the ball over 4 times, but I don't really care if you're turning the ball over 4 times. If you can score 42 points, it's the new NFL. They don't run the ball anymore. They're not really doing the whole time of possession thing where they try to run out a whole quarter on one drive. They're passing for it on 4th and 1. So 4 turnovers on 42 points isn't really a big deal, especially if they're throwing the ball like 30, 40, sometimes 50 times a game. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be good. I was skeptical at first like everybody was, but he looks like he's a winner. Winners win. Speaking of winners that win, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL right now. Fight that. I dare you to try to tell me Patrick Mahomes isn't the best player in the NFL right now. Andy Reid, I feel like everybody's like he's lucky to have Andy Reid. I feel like Andy Reid is lucky to have him. He probably got Andy Reid getting a little extra early to the office, trying to come up with some new play that he could scheme to get this dude to throw the ball 40. He never had anybody that could throw the ball like Donovan. Donovan had a cannon, and he could move. Michael Vick-ish. He didn't really have the true Michael Vick. So he's had some components of Mahomes and other players, but now they have manifested into one player. That's dope for Andy Reid. You know what I mean? That makes him, he's not doing a job. He's loving when he shows up to work. He's got a cheat code for a quarterback. He's got a cheat code for a running back. He got cheat codes all over the field. He got mismatches. Travis Kelce, Hunt, platform member, shout out Kareem Hunt. He hasn't been getting a lot of carries, but that move he did, I don't know if you saw the game this past weekend, that move he did on the sideline as a big man to stop like that and get back up to top speed down that sideline for that touchdown, which they needed, that was dope. So anyway, Andy Reid is lucky to have Patrick Mahomes. He's the best player in the NFL right now. And I don't see it slowing down because, he's just got options everywhere and mismatches everywhere. What else we got? Eric Reid is back on the scene. And Eric Reid had cojones grande, big enough to show up with the I'm with Cap shirt. Damn. That took some sand. That's a statement. I don't know what that means for the NFL. I know what that means for Eric Reid and a testament to what type of man he is and how he's sticking by what his beliefs. You know, those are things we like to highlight here on the official McCoy podcast. I was a professional athlete. I have some social views as well, you know, and these are just he's just giving you a daily live look into, you know, what's going on in America. Eric Reed is a baller at that. Eric Reed was a pro bowler? Eric Reed was on my beloved 49ers. He went to LSU. This isn't no scrub. And I seen some, I use this term a lot. You can boo-boo for me to avoid from saying other words, you know. But I seen some safeties that weren't as good as Eric Reed playing in the NFL, let's be honest. Don't front like Eric Reed, it was a talent issue or something was behind him or he had an injury. I'm glad the Panthers went and made that move, but I believe who's the Panthers owner is, I think he's big into social activism as well. I don't know if he's I don't know. I got to do my research on. Let me get back to you on the Panthers owner situation, but it's good to see Eric Reed back in football. Trubisky looks good. Trubisky looks real good. He's got some athleticism. He's got some athleticism to himself, throwing 6 TDs. Is he an elite quarterback? Nah, let's not do that. Yeah, he still kind of reminds you of Blake Bortles sometimes. He has Blake Bortles moments. You know, we like Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles be balling, but that's not the elite quarterback. Elite quarterbacks are the pompous people like Aaron Rodgers throwing coaches under the bus when he the one that gassed everybody up to play with that bum knee. You got the offensive lineman brace on, bro. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got Deshaun Kaiser as the backup quarterback, so I don't know what that looks like. Aaron obviously does because he out there dragging that leg around. In other NFL news, Everson Griffin update, and we have to read this. This is his statement that he released this Friday. This past week's events have raised many questions, and I want to apologize to everyone who was impacted. I am currently resolving personal issues with which I have been dealing with for a long time. Once I have had time to address those issues, I hope to share my story with everyone. I am extremely grateful for the support I have received from my family, the Vikings organization, my teammates, and our tremendous fan base. I apologize for not being able to take the field with my teammates and do not have an exact timeline for my return. I promise, however, I will return as a much improved person and player. Now, the Vikings or the coach already released a statement that said he will not return till week 6, at least week 6. You don't have to return, dog. You don't owe them people nothing. You got to be Everson Griffin for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I understand this is your livelihood, but we know what the what your livelihood, you know, we know what the back end of your livelihood looks like. Please take care of yourself. And you know what I mean? I hope the Minnesota fan base, you know what I mean, gives that man his space, and I hope he gets to tell his story the way he wants to. We don't want to see, like, we love ESPN and the behemoths in the industry, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you don't get to tell your story like you want to or like you need to at the end of the day. That whole situation, I just hope it gets worked out. You know what I mean? I was a fan of Everson Griffin. He went to USC, correct? Yeah, he's a Trojan. You know, I like Trojan defensive linemen. I hope that he plays. He's a passionate player. He's a big part of that defense. And the defense is looking shady since he hasn't been there. Notice that. You know what I mean? So he's putting his job on the line and his brain on the line for the city, putting on for the city, carrying around mental health issues. That's a strong young man. That's a superhero at the end of the day. It ain't no disability. That's a superhero at the end of the day. So I hope he works it out. We're going to work it out right now and transfer into the NBA. Favorite time of year. NBA is creeping up real quick behind you. They're not, the season is coming up quick. You know what I noticed? They use the NBA to promote the NFL. And they got commercials to do so for Madden. And if you play Madden, like if you hear Charles Davis or whoever that is, he always says, they kind of remind me of a good half-court basketball team. Like there's all these basketball references in the NFL right now. The receiver for Tampa Bay, Adams, he did a deal with Charles Woodson explaining how his get off, and he simulated it against Charles Woodson, and he said it was the Allen Iverson crossover. I asked Mike Evans this. Now, Mike Evans, I went to the Mike Evans celebrity charity weekend out in College Station. You can find that on officialize.com. It's a fantastic piece highlighting his humanitarian efforts. Mike Evans is a good dude, big-time basketball fan. No, he's not equally as talented, but he can hoop. Go watch. Don't take my word for it. Go watch the Mike Evans piece on officialize.com. You'll see him doing 360s and windmills, and that was also featured on Monday Night Football Countdown. Big news for us at Officialize, and bigger news for Mike Evans. That's what we're here for. Everybody wants to do content, but we know we're here to highlight our players. That being, I lost my chain of thought. That just happened. You just witnessed that whole thing. I just completely lost my chain. Why was I talking about Mike Evans again? You guys remember? Because I talked to Mike Evans about this, and he did not want to admit. I asked him, did he use basketball moves on the football field, and he dodged the question brilliantly. Like, he didn't want to cross that line. He wanted to make sure that, he's generally regarded as one of the top receivers in the NFL. Mike Evans, he be balling, look it up. You know what I mean? Don't take my word for it. But I thought it was dope that he didn't want to cross that line. He was and he kind of he looked up and to the left, so I know he wanted to be. I didn't care. I wasn't going to make some announcement that Mike Evans said he'd be playing basketball on Sundays in the NFL. I wasn't going to do that to him. It was just more for my opinion. But I'm glad Adams just came out and said it. Anyway, LeBron James, we got our first look at LeBron James as a Laker. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 15 minutes. Wasn't supposed to play, but he did because he knew he knew nobody was going to, people were going to be pissed if LeBron sat out the whole preseason. I would have been. You come up, show you play your little 12, 15 minutes, jump back in the helicopter like Kobe. You got that game from Kobe. Seeing you do the little post, King, you know what I'm saying? Jumped in the helicopter, skirted out on us, back to L.A. But, that's out of Kobe's game plan. Probably Kobe's helicopter. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you do in the NBA, this brotherhood. People making $20, $30 million a year, you can borrow the homie's helicopter. And probably the jet. And Nike probably paid for it. And wrote it off. That's free game. That's free game. Anyway, we got the Laker fans also trying to transition with LeBron, and people getting mad if they're saying he's already a top 5 Laker. And then we got the Kobe fans still acting like having the best player in the world in the Staples Center is a bad thing. Like y'all wanted to watch Brandon Ingram and them running around, and Kuz and Ball. He's got to stay healthy. Yeah. No, I don't get it. I'm tired of it. They defaced the homie's mural. He's been showing up. They talked about him when he showed up to the AAU games. Kobe never showed up to no AAU games. He was a recluse. Now you got the best player in the world out here running around in the community a la Shaq, who was all around in the community throwing toys drives. He would show up to the gas station, buy everybody gas. Kobe go to Newport Beach. Love Kobe. Good friend. No, I'm not going to talk to him every day. I won a championship with him. We had the same agent. I'll know him when I see him. I'm not going to get sure, but I don't talk to him every day. But, Kobe was becoming the Black Mamba. He wasn't accessible. LeBron James is accessible. What better than an accessible superstar in Los Angeles? Get off the LeBron hate. He showed up. He played. He's played a couple games now after he said he wasn't going to play. Should be happy LeBron in the Laker uniform. There's the other things to worry about on the Lakers roster than LeBron James. For sure. We got some players. Ingram's supposed to be the next Kevin Durant. But didn't Kevin Durant average over a dub his rookie year? Yeah. He's been averaging like a dub since he came out of the womb. So, there's some things that need to happen in the player development sense for the Lakers. Well, we shouldn't be worried about LeBron James and his GOAT status. And if he's ranked in the top 5 as the Lakers, who cares? What do we have to be proud for as Lakers fans the last 5 years? No playoffs? Drafting, a couple guys, high lottery picks? That's not cool. There's a bunch of banners in there that they play for in the Staples Center. So he's going to give us our best chance, and he's going to give us the best chance of getting us the next player who's going to give us an even better chance. We're going to the playoffs this year. Don't worry about it. Depending on what happens, we may or may not make a dope run. I say we. I won a championship with the Lakers, and I'm a lifetime Laker fan, and I'm a LeBron James fan. So that's good. This is all good news. Get off LeBron's tip, if that's appropriate. Sounds pretty appropriate for this situation, and just welcome him with open arms. The only other thing that really mattered to me in the NBA, I'm not really paying attention to the Jimmy Butler deal. I'm cool. I like Jimmy Butler. He made a name for himself, came out of nowhere, second-round pick like myself. Nobody counted on Jimmy Butler. We get it, dude. You went to Marquette. You played for Thibodeau. You can practice for 3 hours, 4 hours. We get it. Everybody ain't got to do that, Jimmy Buckets. That's why you ran afoul with Wiggins or Karl Anthony Towns. You see they paid the young boys. You know what I mean? I get it that you're trying to bring a culture. It sounds like he's trying to be a culture of hard work, and he's got that Tibbs style back with Tibbs in Minnesota. But you remember on the Olympic team when he was playing the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and the look on Melo's face and everybody else? Just go look up the video. Jimmy Butler and whatever that, making my way downtown. That's weird. That's just weird. Give me some Migos, you know what I'm saying, some trap music. I don't know. I know he's from Dallas. He's probably good. Give me some Johnny Cash. Hoodie Melo's face said it all. He's only alienated himself from every locker room he's been in. Maybe it's Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler, but he's not that guy to be making this big stink for. So that's enough time we spent on Jimmy Butler. That's it. We're going to transfer over to something that makes absolutely no sense, but makes perfect sense. Because this has to do reading contracts at the end of the day and being, contract savvy. J.R. Smith. They're going to fine J.R. for having a Supreme tattoo, y'all. That sounds dumb as hell. How you going to fine a man? And he said it clearly. There's been other tattoos. There's been NBA tattoos, Nike. They got dudes got Jordan Jumpman tattoos. People get silly tattoos. We know the tattoo game. You don't always get the tattoo that you deserve, or do you? Anyway, Article 37 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, stay with me here, clearly states that other than as may be incorporated into his uniform and the manufacturer's identification incorporated into his sneakers. Huh? Who read that and understood it? Not a lot. I'm going to continue. A player may not, during an NBA game, display any commercial, promotional, or charitable name, mark, logo, or other identification, including but not limited to, on his body, in his hair, or otherwise. So now you have control over my body. I I can make this go left real fast, but I won't do that. I don't think that the NBA should have control over a supreme tattooed on somebody's body or hair. Like what I can put. You're salty if I put like a swoosh in my hair, a design in my hair. Like that's what the kids is doing, man. They swagged up. They got curls and sponge brushes to make curls, and they got 6 different haircuts at once. And shit, a couple years ago, I had a part or a line in my hair. Now, if it looks like a Nike, you gonna find me? And it's in a collective bargaining agreement. The NBA thinks of everything because basketball players are naturally disruptive. That's what it is. Kobe was disruptive in the triangle. So was Michael Jordan, right? It's kind of like an old farty. I'll use I played for Phil Jackson. I'll quote Phil Jackson and he called the triangle a white man's offense. That's what Phil said. Don't blame me. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, but when you put athletes in positions where everybody, you know what I mean, is buys into a system, they start to make your system look good, and then they start changing things. Like NBA players, they changed, they cut off the sweats. NBA started making cut off sweats. AI started wearing the elbow sleeve for whatever reason that he did. Then they started to put the swoosh and the NBA logo on that. When we wore rubber bands and the bands, they put the NBA logos on those and told us if we didn't wear like regular rubber bands, which was part of the culture, like you was about to get fined. Headbands, they went from you can't wear headbands to now they got NBA logos on them. So the NBA smart. They thought about everything. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, right? He was doing the flag thing before Kaepernick. He didn't stand for the national anthem because he's a Muslim and his religious beliefs and what was going on in, Muslim countries. They already experienced that back in the day. Don't forget that. NBA is always ahead of the social curve because basketball players are more naturally disruptive for football than football players. Football players, they get hurted. Right, we talked about this before. Defensive lineman meetings, linebacker meetings. You're at 2:30. You're over here. You're over there. We're never really together until we are for like 30 or 40 minutes. NBA locker rooms, you can't hide. Everybody knows everybody's business in the locker room from top to bottom. And I mean from equipment manager to dude that makes $40 million to dude with non-guaranteed business and they're on non-guaranteed contracts. That happens. I don't want this to happen in the NBA though, but Commissioner Silver is a smart dude. I'm pretty sure that he's a real smart dude, and he works together with Miss Roberts, the president. That's my president, who I identify as my president, the president of the Players Association, Miss Roberts. They work collaboratively well, more so I believe more in my opinion than any other league. I hope they come to a better resolution. And what's wrong with Supreme being a part of the NBA at the end of the day? Nike's with it. The NBA, right? Nike runs the NBA. They're in charge of outfitting the NBA. If Nike says that they're cool with it, and maybe it should be just for J.R. Smith or a handful of people. Everybody shouldn't have Supreme sleeves. Maybe it should be just whoever Supreme and Nike deem that should have those sleeves. It's just bigger for business. They'll figure it out. They got a good way of figuring it out. They're one of the best marketing and businesses in the world, so they'll figure it out. That's really what I got for NBA news. Except the fact, I don't gamble. I don't really do the gambling thing too much. I know that's prevalent in sports. I know there was some big time news this summer about gambling and NFL? NBA? NBA. They made some weird deal with the MGM where you can gamble. They're in cahoots. They're always in cahoots. There's too much money going around. You know what I mean? So they got some weird structured deal with look it up. Hopefully we might be able to provide it to you later on down the line. We'll start sending you links or putting a link on the bottom of the screen or getting you a link to these articles. We'll do better. So, Golden State fan, probably a tech guy, put $68,000 on the Golden State Warriors to go to the playoffs. He was real smart. He's a genius. That was a great bet. You know how much this dude is gonna make? $680, and they got to spread that out over 6 months, or does he just over it? And he won't get his money until 6 months when the playoffs start. So he went and he moved over, and maybe he got it like that. But even if you get, people need Merrill Lynch. If you got 68,000 lying around, you need to call your Merrill Lynch or Charles Schwab guy or Ameritrade. I don't know what platform you're using now. Call your auntie. Call your grandma. Your grandma, if you call your grandma, you told her that, she'd probably be like, nah, baby, that don't sound like that's a good idea. You should put your money in something else. That's why you need your grandma in your life sometimes, to save your ass from trying to win $680 on a $68,000 investment. But maybe you got it like that and it's all a game to you and you're in the tech space. I don't know. I don't gamble. I don't get it. Another guy, what's this other guy? According to ESPN.com, one guy put $1,600 on Alabama to beat Lafayette, and he ended up with a buck. What was it, Griffin?
$1.60.
He got $1.60. That ain't even gonna cover the fee for the transaction to move the 1,600 where it needs to be. You wait when you went down there and bought the, and placed your bet. You had to spend $1.60 in gas. If you did it from, okay, so you think you got me there? Ha! Official McCoy, Jelani McCoy. I did mine from home. You had Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So you spent $1.60 somewhere that didn't have nothing to do with that $1,600. That's a bad deal. You gotta stop betting if that's what you're going through. If those are your margins, you gotta do something else. There's got to be something else. Last but not least is a culture update. I'm gonna start having these a lot more often, as long as the culture contributes to something. The Tupac estate settled their legal disputes with whoever is trying to hold us from the Tupac records. And it looks like we're going to be getting some new Tupac music. That's what the babies are missing. The babies need Tupac. Care what y'all say. You got these Lil Peeps and what's the boy with the Tekashi 6ix9ine and Lil Xan and Lil Drughead and Baby Coke and Leany Lean and whatever else drugged out YouTube superstars out here. They need Andre 3000 and Tupac and like New Edition. All this FUTB because you won't talk to me and you know what I mean, you're a B and y'all all this and all this misogynistic lyrics. It was better when Tupac was doing it. For some reason, it sounded better coming from Tupac because he created a balance and he also put a positive spin out there. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Contradictory. But shit, we all walk. Oh, excuse me. I said I wasn't going to curse. And I said I wasn't going to say things like Prescott. You know, I'm doing better. 1% better every day. But I slipped right there. And you know what I mean? Anyway, Tupac music is coming. That's a good sign because we also got your boy out here acting a damn fool again. Just when you think we got him under control and he's going to concentrate and give us some more Blood on the Leaves or College Dropout or Stronger or any more of this inspirational music. I don't know who this new dude is. Yandi, he Yeezus, he Yandi. He making it so I can't wear my Yeezys. And the homies I talked to, we got a group, we got the Brewing Legends. Shout out to the Brewing Legends. We on a group chat every day. We talk about these issues, and everybody putting their Yeezys up. I was hoping we can pin this on his mental health issues. But that's not fair to people with real mental health issues. such as myself. Blame Kanye. I listen to too much Kanye West music. He's outside of TMZ, scaring the hell out of Van Lathan. Shout out Van Lathan. I did a spot on TMZ Sports about the Kobe Bryant pickup experience at UCLA. That's on YouTube. You can check that out for yourself if you care to see why or you like, why is this dude bumping his mouth? What does he have to add to the culture? It's because I've been on TMZ Sports. Doesn't that make me important? No. Anyway, my man is out there making a slave video in front of TMZ. Please go watch the video of Yandi making a slave video outside TMZ. I'm done with Kanye. There it is. I was doing everything I could do. Hell, I partly understood the statement he made, but everybody else doesn't have the emotional intelligence, and some people don't have the intelligence to read through the statement he was trying to make. I probably should have threw Kanye under the bus when he said that. But you know what I mean? I thought we was about to get some good music. Kids See Ghost was out. Pusha T was out. Who else? His album was out. So I was jaded. He fooled us. And he continued with his shenanigans. And why is he on the culture update? Because he cost the culture, y'all. He cost the culture a couple points. He might have set us back 10 years with the last couple events that he's done on Saturday Night. He was weird on Saturday Night Live. Why is he back on Saturday Night Live? I thought we fixed this. What? Because they're geniuses and they want views, is what Justin said. They knew they were going to get eyeballs. Lorne Michaels, isn't he head of Saturday Night Live? He knew what he was getting when he brought Yandi on. Yandi need to go sit down somewhere. And great for TMZ and Saturday Night Live. They're smart as hell. You know, they know what it's clickbait at the end of the day. But man, pull the cord from this fool when he started making these speeches. I hate to call Kanye a fool, but he's doing foolish stuff and it's hurting the culture. That is our culture update. This has been the official McCoy podcast. Try to take my time a little bit today and let these things sizzle. It's been fun for me. I hope it was enjoyable for you. From Justin, Griffin, Jelani here at the official McCoy podcast, and from the good folks at No Coast Beer and officialize.com, this has been the official McCoy podcast. I think we got 1% better today. Continue to subscribe, email us with any questions or topics that you might like to hear. We're across all platforms. Justin will do a great job of making that email available to you for all questions and all that good stuff. Again, please continue to support. I'm Jelani McCoy. Enjoy the rest of your week.